Board of Commissioners. We are here for a public hearing. We have 3 items for the public hearing tonight. And I'll read the public notice. It says the Board of Commissioners of the City of Mount Juliet will have a public hearing on Monday, October 23rd at 6:15 at City Hall for the second and final reading on the following items. So these 3 items. Number 1, amend Part B of the Unified Development Code of the City of Mount Juliet, Tennessee, known as Zoning Regulations, Ordinance 2001-29, adopted October 8th, 2001, as amended by amending Section 2-103, Definitions of Land Use Activities, Section 3-103, detailed activities listed under Section 6-102, uses and structures to permit breweries and microbreweries in select commercial districts. The second item is the rezone of approximately 8 acres of property on North Mount Juliet Road, East Hill Street, and East Caldwell Street, map 72H, Group C, 721, Group A, parcels 12, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 24, 25, 25.01, 26, 27 from CTC to RS 40 to CTC PUD, and adopt the preliminary master development plan for the downtown Mount Juliet City block. The third item is to amend the land use plan and rezone the property known as the U-Haul U-Box storage located on 100 Grandview Circle, map 52L, Part D, parcel 17, from thoroughfare commercial to light industrial. The public is invited to attend and comment. And before we get started with that, we have some, if there's any seats out there, I just try to grab up any seats you see, if any of the reserved seating out there. If it's open for you. So start with that. If you would like to comment on these 3 items and these 3 items only, we'd ask you to come forward, give your name and address for the record. You'll be recognized for 3 minutes. If you have comments on any other thing, we will have general comments at 6:30 at the regular scheduled meeting. Name and address, please.
Karen Sweet. I live at 60 East Caldwell, Mount Juliet.
All right, you're recognized for 3 minutes.
Some of the residents, 12 days ago, made up a petition. As of this evening, we have 303 signatures. If it's okay with you, I'd like to read it in its entirety.
You have 3 minutes.
Dear Commissioners, please vote no on the downtown Mount Juliet City block as it's proposed in its current state. Currently, a 245-unit, 4-story multifamily apartment building between East Caldwell and Hill Street is part of the proposal. We are current residents of Mount Juliet who oppose this high-density living proposal as it will overwhelm infrastructure, could adversely affect the value of our properties, and decrease the quality of life and safety of the current residents. The 31 units per acre is a misrepresentation of density since you are considering the entire project area for your calculations, not just that which is used for residential. The proposed road updates and parking are insufficient for a project of this magnitude. No doubt congestion will be an issue. As it is, the proposed project does not seem to be beneficial to the residents in the area. Traditionally, government office space and apartments, townhouses without community amenities bring no value to surrounding homes, but to the contrary, will work in detriment to them. The neighborhood will be crowded, dull, and noisy, creating value only to the developer and the people that have interests vested in this project. We urge you to consider the needs of your current community, not just build for future residents. A downtown should represent our city, increase the curb appeal of the area, bring the community together, and add value to the surrounding properties. We hope you will listen to the desire of our residents and do what is right for the citizens that you represent. Revitalize Mount Juliet as a family-friendly place. Build an attractive and beautiful downtown that can make our city proud. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. You said you had a petition?
I do. I just read the petition in its entirety. I don't know if you need a copy of it.
Do you have copies?
or,
If you could, if you'll just give it to the city manager and he'll see that we get copies.
If I just like to mention, I did go around to people just on my daily doings where I would present it to people. And I have to say, when I spoke at a previous meeting with all of you, and you said that you felt the people in the town were aware of what was happening, I have to say, the vast majority of the people had no idea that there was, what's in this proposal. They did not know there was going to be high density multifamily. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you. Excuse me, ma'am. We'll get you up here if you've got a comment for us, but and we'll make sure. And Mr. Beasley, you make sure everyone has copies and one for the record as well. Ma'am, on the front row, if you have a comment, are you in line?
Yes.
If you have a comment, you can join right after her. Yes, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please.
Jessica Sweet. I live at 60 East Caldwell Street. I'm also commenting on the downtown city block proposal. I live half a block from this proposal, 4 houses down from this proposed development. And the only notice that I was given is the signage that's on the road. A sign which provides 0 information regarding this development. It's unreadable unless you approach it by foot. It's only 24.5 inches tall, which legally actually in the Mount Juliet Planning Code, it should be 36 inches minimum height. So it doesn't actually follow your own code. I received no individualized notice that a 240 unit, 4-story apartment building is being proposed to be built 600 feet from my home. I recommend that the legal requirements for notice be updated to fit the suburban urban nature of our developing community. And I implore you all to please defer the vote on this project until the community is adequately notified, because in discussing this, it hasn't been. I too want a walkable, central, vibrant downtown with a gathering space for our community anchored around a new city hall. I realize that a growing community requires residential, public, commercial space to be successful, but there are currently 1,005 new housing units approved by this board and under construction within a 1.5-mile radius of this project. That's 300 apartments, 396 townhomes, 291 single-family homes that are in the process of being built, so those residents aren't even here yet. At what point do we admit that these numerous new residential projects are not funding infrastructure updates, but are instead overwhelming our town due to short-sighted planning and overcrowding? Housing of this caliber on a parcel of this size will really limit the utility of the downtown to the community. This is 8 acres of space. If you include 245 housing units, city hall, the office, the commercial space, adequate parking to make this functional, what's left to make this walkable? What's left to make the plaza, green space, gathering area that's being advertised in the newspaper articles and the PR that's being put out regarding this project? You're making a space for future residents without including the needs of current ones. You're making space for chain restaurants, big box stores, thousands of new potential residents to the detriment of the small businesses and families that currently live here. Please eliminate the high density housing proposed for this project, and please make space in this project for a truly walkable downtown our community can be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's let the lady speak. Name and address for the record, please.
Jessica Stoico, and this is my daughter, Sophia. We live at 82 East Hill Street, so just up the road. I'd like to echo what the 2 previous constituents have said. I also would like to know if the council members are voting yes on this project as it's currently proposed. I would like to know why exactly you are voting yes, because we have expressed opposition and multiple constituents have written and emailed and contacted City Hall in the meantime since the previous reading. And I just want to reiterate that this is our home. We purchased our home in this neighborhood because it was quiet, because it's around the corner from the library, which we love to walk to, which we can currently do safely because of the lack of traffic. I understand that the road is going to be opened up to make it a through road. So I know that traffic will increase, but adding a project of this magnitude right at the end of the intersection is asking for trouble in that regard. And this is really going to change the dynamic of the entire neighborhood in addition to the entire town. So I urge you to defer or vote no, please.
Thank you for your comments. Sorry, folks, it's not the school board. We don't allow the clapping in here, but we do welcome your comments if you have some for the commission.
Hello, I'm Greg Homan. I got a commercial property here at 74 East Hill Street. My only concern really is about the density and the parking. My parking lot there right now, and it's already hard enough to keep cars out of there. So I don't know how I would become a policeman and have to, tow people out of there. So just something to consider. I'd like to talk to maybe planning or whoever about that maybe off and see what we can do in terms of coming to some reconciliation about how we handle that.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else on these three items? Pull it, please. Thank you. Name and address.
Okay, my name is Renata Crista Plasencia Jernigan. I live at 1421 Barrett Drive. When I moved into this village in 2002, it was a beautiful, quiet village. I know that as years go by, like residents enjoy as well as I enjoy the beauty of this community. Lately, the traffic is horrendous. By adding 240 more units, the traffic is going to be even worse. It takes from my address, which is right across from the school, which is being rebuilt, to go across 40 to Kroger. Sometimes it takes me up to 25 minutes from the traffic. You add all that, okay, and the traffic is going to be horrendous. And I really and truly feel that the safety of the community is going to be in jeopardy. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Sandra Taylor. I'm at 90 East Hill Street, which is at the very, very end of Hill Street, just as it runs into what I call the forest down there. My husband and I bought our property 3 years ago, came to this neighborhood because of the size of the neighborhood, because of the quietness of this neighborhood. We are retired, and we just happen to have a lovely piece of land. And we had absolutely no idea of this development coming at the end of our street until neighbors started talking about it and coming around to our door. So this has not been well published or publicized to the community. And unless you're a seeker of information to find out what's happening, we had absolutely no idea. We just simply wanted to urge you to defer or vote no. It's just going to totally disrupt an already thriving small neighborhood community with families, with children. We just had new babies born into our neighborhood a couple days ago. We have children, pets, there's wildlife here, and the disruption with the traffic. I don't know how you're going to widen this already cute little 2-lane street to accommodate the traffic that is going to be created. So just in our little humble world of, being retired and liking a small, quiet neighborhood, this would not be it anymore. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm Jessica Garcia, and I live at 80 East Hill Street. And I just wanted to echo what's been said previously. I've lived on this street for 5 years,
And I moved here because it's a very quiet road where we're all a little community and know each other. And we walk our babies and walk our dogs and just have a nice community here. So I would like to also encourage you to vote no or to defer this project right now. And I would also like to encourage more information to be brought out because like other ones have already said, I did not know anything about this or the details of the project until the neighborhood started talking about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for commissioner comments? Excuse me, not commissioner comments, but public hearing? We'll get to commissioner comments, but. Name and address, please, sir.
Michael Goolsby, 76 East Hill Street. How y'all doing? You're my new neighbor. He spent $500,000 just to get into a neighborhood where he can vote for what he wants to do. Wonder how that happened. I love you. You know I do. But anyway, as we diverse, where is the man that's wanting to do all this? Right there he is. Good for you. How many housing units are we gonna? What's your projection? Come on, talk to me.
Sir, if you could keep your comments directed towards the commission.
Oh, I just want to know how many is gonna be in there, how many units. What I heard was 260. Is that close? Somebody answer me. Y'all should know how many. How many? 240. Okay, 240 for the housing unit. Am I correct? Mr. Justice, I'm looking at you. Am I correct? Okay. And all that 200, you love it, don't you? I know you do. But you got 260. 260 units. Somebody multiply that by $1,500. Give me a figure. Give me a figure. You know how much it is. You know you do. And I'm all for you making money. It's America. And I know you're loving this. It's America. Make what you can. But what it comes down to is greed. Nothing more than greed. You know it. I know it. I moved here 35 years ago. It was a small town. Loved it. Loved it. And look what it's become. Money hungry. You can't get enough money, can you? You can't get enough money. I mean, how much is enough? And it makes you wonder, where in the hell are we going as a society
Sir,
to know that we can, oh my God, I could go off here, but y'all are grown people. You know what's right and what's not right. You do for sure. And why in the heck you would do this? Because you want to be like Brentwood. You want to be like Franklin. Why can't you just be Mount Juliet? Good old country folks. That's what we're here for. Good old country folks. Am I wrong? Will somebody say, oh God, Mike, you're not right. Can we be country folks? No, because the fix is it. It's done. Folks, you can come up here, you can say what you want.
Sir,
to,
you're
you
over
can
your
do what you
limit.
want to, But
Thank you, sir. Anyone else for comments tonight or for the public hearing? I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to speak on these items. If not, we're going to close the public hearing. We'll reconvene for our regular scheduled meeting. We'll have citizen comments there again. You can speak on any topic you want, whether on the agenda or not, and we'll open it back up. But for now, if there's no objections, we'll close the public hearing. Hearing none, we are closed. And we're a few minutes late starting our regular meeting. It is October 23rd, and I'll hereby call the meeting of the Board of Commissioners to order. We have a quorum present pursuant to 62210 of City Code. we'll proceed with the conducting of our business. I just want to start out by saying good evening to everyone. Thank you for coming to our monthly meeting of the Mount Juliet Board of Commissioners. My name is Mayor James Maness, and on behalf of the commission and staff, I want to welcome you here tonight. Tennessee law gives every Tennessean the right to attend the commission meetings and to observe how we go about doing the government's business here tonight. We appreciate each and every one of you taking time out of your personal schedules to be here tonight and see how this works. Our first item on the agenda is the setting of our agenda. Yes, I have I may already have yours. I don't try to read minds, but I'm going to say if I'd like to move 11. Yes, D from under the consent. Yeah, D under resolutions consent off the consent agenda. Is there any objection to removing D from consent? Well, just a quick note on that, Commissioner. Commissioners are inquiring about item D. That's under the city manager's sponsorship. Commissioners requesting to remove it from the agenda.
Yes, sir.
It's item D, a resolution authorizing the city manager to negotiate a price for the property located at 1025. Charlie Daniels.
Yes, sir. I will defer to the city attorney on that for some information we received late this afternoon.
Resolution.
Go ahead. Okay. Gina's city attorney stating there's nothing wrong with the resolution itself.
There's nothing wrong with the resolution. I mean, it's under your sponsorship. Do you want to stay on?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm still going to remove it from consent. It's the city manager is the one it's under his sponsorship.
Yeah. Just remove it, Mayor.
Just remove it. All right.
Okay.
It's under the city manager's sponsorship.
That's fine. We'll leave it.
Sir, it's under your sponsorship, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, we're going to remove it from consent, and we will vote on it right before the appointments. The next item is 11I, an ordinance to rezone the property known as Golden Bear Place subdivision located at Golden Bear. We need to remove that one from the agenda as well because of a notice issue with it. It will be, excuse me, guys. We need to remove that one from the agenda. Is there any other changes to the agenda? 11I is removed. And under consent, item D is moved off consent and will be read before the appointments. Any other questions or comments on the agenda? All right, all in favor of the agenda as amended, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That carries. The agenda is set. So I say without objection, it's set. We're set on our agenda. We have a 209-page packet here before us. 3 items. In my first count under unfinished business, 13 items under new business. If you would like a copy of the agenda, we have them in the wire baskets. If you're following along at home, it's just our guide for how the meeting is going to be conducted here tonight. So they're in the baskets if you need a copy. Next item on the agenda is our invocation and pledge of allegiance. I would ask Mr. Beasley if he would to come forward and lead us in our invocation and pledge.
If y'all will, please stand with me. Let's go before the Lord. Lord, we thank you for bringing us here in this room together. We thank you for all of our concerned, informed citizens that fill this room, Lord, that make Mount Juliet great for so many years and so many years to look forward to. Lord, we also thank you for our 5 elected members before us, Lord. We thank you for their time, their energy, their resources that they give to put this city first, Lord. We also thank you for our city leadership up here as well, Lord, and how they lead and the manner in which they lead our city, Lord. We're so thankful for them as well. Lord, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the businesses and the churches, Providence Church, Joy Church, Wilson Bank and Trust, that want to continue to keep our city tidy and clean and beautiful. One of the things that separates us from all other cities surrounding us and in the state of Tennessee, Lord. We also want to lift up the football teams and the rivalry between Green Hill and Mount Juliet this weekend for the Mayor's Cup. Lord, please allow them to represent our city to the best of their ability, to have great sportsmanship, and to also leave the game as healthy as possible in such a physical sport. Lord, just give us your wisdom beyond our intellect to make choices that will represent our city to the best of its ability moving forward. And we thank you for all the opportunities that you've afforded us now and in the future. We give you the honor and the praise and the glory and the thanksgiving. It's in your holy and precious name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Beasley. Next item is the approval of minutes, and we have a set from September the 25th meeting. Is there a motion? Motion. Commissioner Justice?
There's one piece on here is a typo that just it's one of those, it's probably one of those little spell check things. I find it here. Under, let's see, about the fourth paragraph down. It's talking about the building, talking about City Hall building it's supposed to be served its purpose. It's on page, the packet page 10, very first page of the minutes, Commissioner. It's 1, 2, 3, the fourth paragraph actually down, and it says this building has severed its purpose. I probably, if that wasn't such a harsh word, I probably wouldn't have paid a whole lot of attention to it, but it's just a typo is all it is.
Any objection to the spell correction?
I will point out that page 5 or paragraph 5 is where you actually agreed with what I said. So,
well, I don't know that it was factually wrong either way. Hearing no objection to the correction, anything else for the minutes? All right, all in favor of the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes carry. I got one abstention. Apologize for that. Got a 4-1 with one extension on that. Next item on our agenda is citizen comments. I'll read this real quickly. It's just, in order to conduct more business-like meetings, the commission has adopted rules on how to conduct these. Primarily, these rules are designed to keep the meetings moving, ensure the points of views are heard and considered, and provide for a common courtesy. In a few moments, we'll reach that place, but at the beginning of the presentation, just please tell us your name and address. The second thing is, please address all your comments to the mayor. Do not ask questions of the commission or members of staff. If necessary, the mayor will ask someone to address any questions you may have in comments. However, the board is under no obligation to respond to questions from the floor. Please avoid using inappropriate language, profanity, or any other inappropriate conduct. Once the citizen input portion of the meeting is over, the commission will proceed with the remaining of the evening's agenda. You're welcome and encouraged to stay for the remainder of the meeting. And with that, I'll open the floor for for citizen comments.
Matt Gardner, 4603 Skymont Drive, Nashville.
All
We would like to ask that we postpone item number 9A for one meeting. After the working session, we had an extremely productive conversation with the city manager on how to try to close the gap on the valuation, and think that would be very helpful to your comment, Mr. Mayor, on moving forward. So we request that we defer for one meeting, item 9A.
So that first meeting in November.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. All right, the floor is open for citizen comments. If anybody has any comments about anything on the agenda or any other topics you wish to address. Name and
Steve
ad-
Hart, 1208 Horseshoe Cove, Mount
Thank you.
Juliet, Tennessee. Here on behalf of the Horseshoe Cove Homeowners Association. And I'm not sure which item this is, maybe 11B. It's the sewer extension request for proposed commercial development at
Right.
3150 Nonneville Road, also known as Cane Cove. And the request is by Cane Cove LLC. We're here to oppose the request to extend sewer for these purposes that they've set forth in their proposal, which are all commercial purposes for property that is outside the city limits, that is presently zoned agricultural, residential, and not appropriate for the purposes they're asking for the sewer extension for. Their proposal, which seems to keep morphing and changing as it goes by, but the current sort of proposal for commercial development is 90+ rental cabins, which would, as they say, seat or serve an estimated 196 people, probably more than that if you're talking about 90 cabins. A reception venue area for 250 seats, a clubhouse for 100 seats, a chapel for 100 seats, a pool and a pool house in addition to that, plus service and office buildings, all of which would have a much greater significant impact on the sewer system they're wanting to connect to than if you use the 20 acres as it's currently zoned for residential or agricultural. And Horseshoe Cove has been on this sewer system since the 1990s without any problems. In fact, we're the only thing that is northwest of where they are. We're the ones that would probably be affected if their connection causes sewer problems. And so we ask that you recognize the unanimous negative recommendation that was given by the Planning Commission to this proposal, and ask that when it comes up for consideration tonight that you vote against it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Anyone else for citizen comments? I'll just point out, unlike the Planning Commission, we do not generally open the floor for comments beyond this point in the meeting. So if you have something you want to say, I want to make sure you get an opportunity to address or speak to the commission. All right. Not seeing any, we will close citizen comments and we will proceed on with our agenda. Our next order is commissioner comments and reports. With that, I'll recognize Commissioner Mullally.
Wasn't expecting to go first. I want to thank everyone for being here. I love it when the room is full. Whatever reasons that you're here, whether we agree or not, I want to appreciate y'all coming out, taking the time of your busy schedules to come out and your willingness to speak or even just attend. I put out a monthly newsletter. If you don't know, it goes out the first of each month, and I include things in it. Like it's kind of tailored to my district, which is south of the interstate, but it also includes city information. So if you'd like to subscribe, just go to jennifermullally.com. But it'll go out. The next one will go out in the middle of next month. So I would like to recognize Leadership Wilson. Those that are here, you can stand up. This is 2024 Leadership Wilson. And yes. They were late. So I just want to thank y'all for being here. And 2024 is the best class ever. Let's see. Our Pickles for Pups pickleball. This is our the city's first sponsored pickleball tournament, and Pickles for Pups, and it was very successful. I haven't heard the final numbers. The last I heard it was five. Was it five? Okay, $5,000 that goes to the nonprofit for the Mount Juliet Animal Shelter, and so that's just awesome. It was a great event. Let's see, and thank you for Cedar Stone Bank, of course, being the sponsor. And let's see, just one other thing, just want to kind of address something about that was said about greed and why can't the city just be Mount Juliet? Well, I've been here about 39 years. So if you were here, been here a long time, back in the year 2000, I think it was, there was a referendum vote. And it was liquor by the drink. And citizens had the opportunity to vote for it. Personally, I voted against it because I knew that our little town would never be the same. Well, it passed. So our town is not the same. And it's just a fact of life. Voters wanted liquor by the drink and it was voted in. So I didn't like it, but this is the result. And so the city has grown really because of that and the sewer. So I just really wanted to point that out. So, if you want one thing, you get another. So I just wanted to remind everyone about that. And if you moved here after that, you are a part of the growth. So, which is good, because you wouldn't have had places to move to, had that growth not taken place. If you've been here just a few short years, unless it was an older home or something that sold, but anyway, the newer neighborhoods, a lot of you have moved here since. So those homes were not there before. So that's really kind of all I wanted to say about that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Justice, you're recognized, sir.
No report, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Vice Mayor Trevette.
All right, thank you, Mayor. First of all, thank you to all the families that came out tonight and also online. As Commissioner Mullally said, it is nice to see folks come out and get involved and at least know what's going on in your community as well as your neighborhoods. I have been here for about 10 years, so I am one of those ones that have moved in the last 10 years, actually going on 11 now. And this is my home. So many opportunities to move back and just can't get away from this place. Love it. But anyways, this past weekend, I just want to give a shout out to the Parks team. I still was trying to figure out what the total number was, but either way, from the police department to the EMS to the fire department being out there, making sure that, all of the residents as well as the neighboring communities came in. They did a wonderful job of getting folks in and out safely over to the Halloween festival out there. It was a great time to see all the vendors, the local businesses, and I had a great time. Rocky and his team always puts on the best show. So, and then of course, as we all go home, everybody else sticks around, cleans up and does all the hard stuff. So just thank them for everything that they do. The MJPD this past week, I got an opportunity to go out and do the community service with Richard, one of the volunteers, as well as a city employee. I'll tell you, folks, it's amazing to see what goes on at nighttime when we all get home and we, get ready for the next day of work. The police department, listen to the radio team, the dispatch, the fire, the EMS, all of them. It is impressive. We all go home. We think, hey, everything's back to normal. And there's so many cars that are broke down, so many accidents, people coming into our neighborhood from surrounding counties that, want to potentially either do harm or cause some type of property damage or some type of damage. And these folks that are out here protecting our streets, so thank them every time you see them, because it is impressive. I am looking forward to getting involved with every department to see what they do at nighttime, as well as just thank them for all that they do. The City Beautiful, with Wilson County Bank and Joy Church and the other sponsors. Hopefully I didn't miss any of them, but that is just another part to our city. I can tell you right now, every time I come home from church or the weekends, I can call Marty and his team, and always looking out for, any type of debris in the road or, animals, and we can all name what we see on the side of the roads, but it's another near miss, so to speak, for all of us that aren't paying attention to the road. We can easily hit something, swerve off the road and create another accident. So, just great job to Marty and his staff out there for City Beautiful. I'll tell you, folks, tonight, the students that were here, Mount Juliet and, the Green Hill Hawks, they're both local to us, right? They're all of our students. And that's really, as many of you guys know me, that's all I'm here for is our students and then our first responders. That's kind of like how things are. The businesses, the roads, all that's going to be built with or without us. But if we start off with our families, right, and our students, and that's all of our students, And then we fall down, and then we support them with our first responders and making sure that our first responders have the best technology, the best equipment out there. For me, that's what I think builds a city. And I can agree with many of you folks that came up here tonight when it comes to, are we wanting to be like another, Franklin or anything else out there? No, I don't want that. I want us to stay Mount Juliet. And I don't want us to turn into, some of you residents talked about this place called Antioch, which I'm not familiar with, and I don't want that to turn into it. I want us to be Mount Juliet strong. Okay. So the continued, communications, the love, the passion, what we have tonight with all these folks that keep coming to these meetings, giving us your directions, we can't slow down, the landowners, they have every right to do what they want with their land. I suggest maybe pulling together, some neighbors and buying some of this land, turn it into green space, turn it into whatever you want it to be. But, that's how we're going to slow down some of this growth. And I tell all my neighbors this. I mean, my neighborhood is 653 homes. I'm trying to say I got one more minute according to my thing here. It looks like, I'm 26 seconds. Okay. Anyway, 653 homes in my neighborhood, guys. I'm right now trying to work that with our community, and it is painful. You're never going to please everyone. We've got a big community, big city, and we're trying to keep the small town feel. So just please continue to reach out to me. I think I've answered everybody's questions. If I missed you, please send me an email or shoot me a text message. Do not send me an instant message. Those things have been pretty painful to miss them. So thank you all. That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. With that, I recognize Commissioner Hefner.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I appreciate everybody coming out. I really appreciate seeing the room packed, and those of you that are watching online. Wasn't at the last BOC meeting, which has been over a month, close to a month. So I want to say happy birthday, much belated birthday to the fire department. 10 years. I wasn't here for that meeting. So I do want to put that out there. I want to thank everybody that reached out to me last month. We lost our dear beloved dog, little Buddy. He was near and dear to our hearts, and it was tough to get through. It still is, but every day is getting a little bit better. We did get a couple poodles, mini poos, multi poos. I think that's what they're called. Anyways, but I do appreciate everybody, their thoughts and the prayers that came in over that hard time. Also want to say Halloween's coming up. Please be mindful when you're driving around during the evenings and kids walking around trick or treating. So please be mindful of that as we get into holiday season or the Halloween season coming up here in just a couple short months. And for that, I conclude my report.
All right. Thank you, sir. I'll start off by saying, I know we have Commissioner Miletti's already recognized Leadership Wilson, but I know we have some members here. If we got a couple of seats up here, if you need some seats to join in with the meeting, right up here at front for leadership. So it'll work well. But I really have been very appreciative of the opportunity to be part of Leadership Wilson this time around, and the relationships that have already been made. It's a wonderful group. I know part of what we're going to do later on is we have a day where we go and learn more about law enforcement on this. And part of that is going to be a police ride along. And I believe we'll be riding along with the sheriff's department, if I understand that properly. But I've done a few ride alongs with the City of Mount Juliet Police. And one thing I've always noticed is on the calls, some nights there's not much of anything going on. I mean, I think I've been to everything from responding to a house fire to one time we had an out of community police chase come through, and that was more excitement than I actually wanted that night. So we've seen a lot, but I'm often kind of surprised by the number of calls that we get that are related to domestic disturbances. So I did want to just throw this out there too. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I just wanted to mention it that approximately about 20 people are caught up in that, and that's 20 people per minute in the United States. So it's something to be aware of. And I appreciate everything our police department does. to assist in that situation when those come up, our fire department and everything that they do. But I'm going to change topics here. I'm kind of dressed down a little bit tonight. I do have a button-down shirt and a jacket here beside me, but I put this on and I decided it was much more comfortable to wear. And it gave me the opportunity to speak about the Mayor's Cup, which is going to be this Friday night at Mount Juliet High School. Our Green Hill Hawks and our Mount Juliet Bears will face off for the third time, and they will be playing for the cup. So the winner of the game will take this home and bragging rights for another year. It's got the scores from the last two meetings there on the sides. And everybody that's involved with that. So wish them well and wish them some success, both sides, that they stay safe and they play well this evening, or excuse me, Friday evening when the game takes place. And if you're interested in coming, we recommend you getting there early because it will fill up quickly. So it's going to be an exciting night in Mount Juliet. With that, I'll conclude my comments and recognize our city manager for his.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Thanks for everybody that came out tonight, especially everybody that showed up early for some of the earlier presentations and all. And that's what makes our community. For those of you that are here, we talked about that. It takes all of us to make a wonderful community. Mayor, I'd like to call somebody up to the mic to give them some special recognition. Ms. Sean Glover and her team, if you come up to the mic for me, please, I'd sure appreciate it. She's giving me the look because this is, she didn't know this was happening, but we did a recognition earlier for a specific item we're doing in the community. And so I had purposely planned, I'm gonna get her to go over there to the mic so everybody can see her on the cameras at home. And these are two ladies that live here in this community. They've worked in this community for many, many, many years. And I know I'm probably embarrassing, but that's okay because I think it's worth it. So if they get on to me later, it'll be a fair trade-off. I've been thinking for a long time about what would be an appropriate way to think. And I thought, what better way than in front of their fellow citizens and on television. So I want to thank you personally on behalf of not only just myself, because I realize, as I said earlier, we can't do what we do without fine businesses like this, Volunteer State Bank, and also these fine ladies here. They do a whole lot more any given time that we've ever called them and asked them for anything, including even sponsoring the T-shirts that you see the mayor sporting and the other commissioners that'll have at the game. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's something at the park, if it's something that the city needs, whatever it is, even if it's just a friendly conversation to have somebody when you're having a bad day. You two ladies are awesome. And I wanted people to know that that doesn't come without somebody that dearly cares about the community. So I feel like I owed it to you. I felt like we owed it to you. So on behalf of the mayor and vice mayor, the commissioners, and all the citizens about Juliet, you know, the things you see this weekend, like the Halloween in the park, that absolutely spectacular. And all the other things that you do to help sponsor, like our concert series and celebrations. Thank you, because that doesn't happen without your local businesses helping make it happen. It just doesn't. Those things get passed on to taxpayers without us having the support of the businesses. So I didn't know if you want to add anything or not. I'm sorry if I embarrassed you ladies or surprised you, but you were here and I felt like you were worthy of it. And I can't thank you enough. And my thank you comes from everybody.
Well, I do appreciate it. And you did embarrass me.
Good at that.
I would like to say that we are honored. We, born and raised, we love our city and we love all things about it. And we're just honored to have the opportunity and be invited to give back. This is a great community that has been good to us and our family and our businesses. And we love it. Wouldn't be anywhere else. So thank you. We do appreciate it.
And Mayor, for all those that got into public service because of the passion and love for other citizens. And, you know, we have a saying in Mount Juliet, it says to make today better than yesterday and tomorrow better than today. And that we can't have an impact, you know, probably outside of Mount Juliet, like at the county level, state level, and the federal level. But we can make a difference in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, and we can't do that without you. So y'all are all family, and I appreciate you immensely. And God bless Mount Juliet, and God bless America. Thank you, Mayor. It concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. With that, we'll get into our business portion of our agenda. The first item, which is 9A, which is an ordinance to rezone approximately 8 acres of property on North Mount Juliet Road, East Hill Street, East Caldwell Street, map 72H, Group C, 721, Group A, Parcel 12, Parcel 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 24, 25, 25.01, 25, listed a second time, and 27 from CDC to and RS 40 to CTC PUD, and adopt the preliminary master development plan for the downtown Mount Juliet City Block. Have a motion? Is there a second? And a second. The item is on the table. I'm hearing a motion to defer from Commissioner Justice. There's a second on the deferral. Got a second on that from Commissioner Mullally. We're on the ordinance, on the advisement of deferral. Any other comments on deferral? Was that a motion to defer one meeting?
Yes.
All right, one meeting. All right, all in favor of deferral for one meeting, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The item will be deferred for one meeting. That passes by 5-0 vote on the deferral. So 9A is deferred. If there's no objection with 9B, 9C, I'll read those together. Hearing no objections, 9B, an ordinance to rezone approximately 1.03 acres of property at 100 Grand View Circle, map 52L, Group D, parcel 17 from CG to IR PUD, and to adopt the preliminary master development plan for U-Haul U-Box storage. 9C is an ordinance to amend the land use plan for the property known as U-Haul Box Storage, located at 100 Grand View Circle, map 52L, Group D, parcel 17 from thoroughfare commercial to light industrial. Not hearing a motion or second on that. Those two die for lack of motion or second. The next item is 11A, an ordinance to approve the request to connect to the Mount Juliet sewer system made by the owner and developer of 105 Cedar Creek Grove Church Road outside the city limits of Mount Juliet, Tennessee, identified as Wilson County, Tennessee, map 50, parcel 70. Is there have a motion? I think Commissioner Mullally made the motion, Commissioner Justice second. Item is on the table. Any questions or comments on this one before we vote? Commissioner Justice, you have the floor.
I think Mr. Jake Porter is here. If I could ask him to come over, because I need to get some clarification on this. I want to make sure that they've actually, I got what you sent me, Mr. Porter, but I was confused as to what I mean, was there something that I was supposed to do?
I believe what we were lined up to have happen was that easement would be signed.
Who needs to sign that?
The owner of the neighboring property, Cedar Grove Church, the owner of the property that we're discussing right now.
So Mr. Paris would be the one to
Yes,
sign it?
yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, he hasn't done that yet. So I'm going to ask, until we get that done, we're going to need to defer this, Mayor.
Got a motion?
Yes, sir, please.
I'll second.
We'll get it. Thank you. You're good. Well, it's not something we can do during the course of the meeting, though. So that's the only problem we got with it.
All right, any questions or comments on the advisement of deferral? All in favor of deferral for one meeting?
Yes, sir.
One meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 11A is deferred for one meeting, by unanimous vote. The next item is 11B, an ordinance to approve a request to connect to the Mount Juliet sewer system made by the developer of Kane Code LLC of 3150 Nonneville Road outside the city limits of Mount Juliet, Tennessee, identified as Wilson County, Tennessee, map 31, parcel 32.01. Is there a motion? All right, the 11B dies for a lack of motion and second. Next item on the agenda is 11C, an ordinance to approve the request to deny sewer service to the Mount Juliet sewer system made by developer of W Man subdivision of 9911 Central Pike outside the city limits of Mount Juliet, identified as Wilson County, Tennessee, map 99, parcel 9.06 and 10. Have a motion and a second. The item is on the table. This is a request for denial on this one for sewer service. Any questions or comments? All in favor of the request for denial, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And it's got by 4-1 vote, 11C carries on first reading. Next item is 11D, an ordinance to adopt for the purposes of amending the City of Mount Juliet, Tennessee municipal zoning ordinance regulations development within the corporate limits of Mount Juliet, Tennessee to minimize danger to life and property due to flooding and to maintain the eligibility for the participation in the National Flood Insurance Program. I'll make a motion.
Second.
A second. Any questions or comments on 11D? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? I believe 11D passes unanimously. 11E, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2023-2024 budget ordinance 2023-2024 to appropriate additional funds for the City of Mount Juliet special census. Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. Any questions or comments on 11E? All in favor of 11E, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, 11E carries on first reading. 11F, an ordinance of the City of Mount Juliet to amend the City of Mount Juliet Code, Chapter 12, Fire Prevention and Protection. I'll make a
Second.
motion and second. Is there any objection to hearing F and G at the same time? All right. I'll read G along with it, an ordinance of the City of Mount Juliet to amend the City of Mount Juliet City Code, Chapter 12, Fire Prevention and Protection. I'll make a motion on the two, and we have a second. 11F and 11G are on the table. Any questions or comments? Question, Commissioner?
Fire chief, to come speak on it.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
You have the floor, sir.
Yes, this is simply ordinances, one, to clean up our fire codes, or basically the code of ordinances related to the fire department, to do some updates with that and make sure that we have everything up to date. The second ordinance is to amend the fireworks ordinance that will actually move it from Chapter 10 businesses and move it into Chapter 12, the fire department, or fire prevention and fire and emergency services now. And those two ordinances going together with that. And the fireworks ordinance is one of the reasons, I know it passed in August, but the reason we brought that back forward was some of the fireworks vendors were asking for additional days to sell fireworks. We met with some of the vendors and came up with an ordinance that does that, as well as doing several other cleanup things within the ordinance that will restrict the use of fireworks a little bit, but it adds those sales date backs. I can answer any questions that you may have.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Vice Mayor.
Sorry about that. I'm kind of out of your peripheral there. Also, if you don't mind, can you just basically also highlight just to the citizens what they're going to be looking forward to when they purchase the actual fireworks? What kind of communication that the vendors are going to have to provide
Yes,
them?
we, the vendors will actually be giving out a card or a pamphlet of some type that will have actual language on it on the days that they're allowed to shoot the fireworks, on all the ordinances related to fireworks, including the distances from churches and other buildings that are in that ordinance. All of that will be detailed out on that sheet that they will be getting as they purchase fireworks. So if you're in the City of Mount Juliet, those are your restrictions, and those are the days that you can shoot fireworks and et cetera.
And when have we cut those down to, just to be able to help out some of the residents that they are always concerned about their animals, along with
Yeah.
just the inconvenience of having to call Mount Juliet to help clean up some of the mess?
Yeah, it was the previous ordinance. I think at first, before the ordinance was passed in August, it was 14 days that people could shoot and use fireworks. We knocked that down to 7 days in August with that ordinance being read. This knocks it down additionally to 3 days. So it'll basically be July the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And then it'll be December the 29th, 30th, and 31st. And that'll be the days that it restricts to.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Any questions or comments? All right. All in favor of 11F and 11G, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Both 11F and G carry. First reading. Next item is 11H, an ordinance to rezone approximately 37.84 acres of property on Lebanon Road, map 54, parcel 5, from RS40 CRC CG to RM8 PUD, and to adopt the preliminary master development plan for the bluffs at Cedar Creek. Is there a motion? A motion? And a second. All right, Commissioner Justice, is under your sponsorship.
Yeah, the sponsorship was to bring it back for consideration, just given some of the information that we'd received at the last meeting, and I think just to give us everybody an opportunity to discuss and see if there's not some changes that might be made to continue it.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I actually did get an opportunity to sit down with the developer, and some of my biggest concerns was obviously the parking, along with some of the amenities, and also just the the timing of the project. So, as many folks that are out here tonight, they've talked about all of the projects that have currently been approved over the years, and that are actually in the process of being built. And this is one of the ones that I do not support. I think like we need to have something out there to be able to help this out, with some of the other local businesses that are currently there, but unfortunately, just not the right timing. So I will not be supporting this.
All right. I do have one question for staff. The way this was at least written in my packet was under planning comments, which was number 12. It says commercial buildings shall be completed by the 100 CO. Since it did not pass last time, as it stays as it was presented. Okay. It's my only question in that regard. That's what's currently in there. We ready to vote? Commissioner Mulledy.
I just want to say something real quick about the schools. Director Lettrell was here, I guess it was last meeting, and addressed the overcrowding of the school system, because I know that when new development comes in, it is a burden on the school. But he did say on this particular project, it would not, because it was already at capacity. Which elementary was it? W.A. Wright? I can't remember. West. It was already at capacity. So if and when development gets approved, it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. And so that was not going to be an issue because it was already at a capacity. So when when a individual school gets at 85% capacity, that's when the school system goes out and starts looking for new land to make preparations, for addition. So I think they already had the ribbon cutting on the new elementary. Groundbreaking. That's what it was, in the Legardo area. So they've already got that in the plan. So this particular project was not going to, make the school at capacity. It was already there. So just want to thank the school system for doing what they do, and, going forward and preparing for the future. So that's all.
Commissioner Hefner.
Yeah, just, can I get representative or Mr. White? I want to just get some details, just kind of review the offsite or the road improvements.
You want me to go over the?
Yeah, just give us the high points on the road improvements. It's always been a big concern of mine. The schools that issue has been resolved with Director Lettrell. So that's no longer a concern of mine, but if you can review the road improvements that you're going to be making.
Yeah, and I'll have my other representative come up here, Joe Haddix with Civil Site. I was going to say, just really quick. Matt can speak about it.
Matt.
I thought it was really important when we heard from the public earlier today about developers and what they do and what they don't do. And I know development comes, like Commissioner Mullally was saying, with a time period where if you even have 1,000 lots that are in your system, they're not all coming line right now. Same with this side, but a lot of developers just try to do that and minimize their impacts because there's real cost to that. And we're trying to create something that is affordable and brings different types of buyers into the market. People that, my kids hopefully one day have a place to live here, and hopefully the rates aren't 8% and everything else, but gives opportunity for a different types of mixture. So that being said, what we do and what's different for us is we do look at the community as a whole and what kind of impact we could have. I know we all say it, but I do live here. I try not to say where I live because it's Lebanon and not Mount Juliet. But at the same time, I'm here quite a bit because of some of the lack of things that Lebanon has. And so when I look at it, and especially for this particular site, I know Matt can come up here and speak to exactly what, but we looked at what with where our location is, what can be done with already having a 5-lane intersection there. Really, there's nothing. What else can we do? And so we took a look at, because I do travel here, and you see Publix, Kroger intersection, and it just sometimes makes you scratch your head that there's not already some stuff that was done at those intersections with some of the commercial that went in with some tremendous growth that's happening. So we looked at that and talked with engineering and staff and said, what can we do? And the suggestion was made to widen that intersection to help the flow of traffic even better. Along with that, we're also talking about adding signalization at our property frontage on Lebanon Road when you're going back towards Hermitage right there. So we're doing things to really help the city that our project doesn't impact, but we're taking that look from a responsible developer point of view to make sure we're doing our part. And I know Matt can speak more to the nuances of that.
Just to clarify, you said you're looking to add or you will be adding?
We will be adding.
Okay. That's
We
a
will be
big
adding.
difference.
That's a huge difference.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Yeah, I believe he covered it. Yeah, they're going to be improving Mount Juliet Road at the intersection with Lebanon Road, creating a sixth lane. Right now, there's currently 5. So northbound, you got a double left. One of the left lanes is a combined left through. What this will do is separate out the through, so the through will be its own lane. What this does is it greatly improves the signal timing, which ultimately reduces the queue backup that you normally see in peak hours on Mount Juliet Road. We've had our consultant look at this, and it makes a huge improvement.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
What's estimated cost?
Go back to my notes really quick.
Signal and the intersection improvements.
Yeah, our estimated cost for all of this work right now, and again, these are high-level preliminary estimates, but it's close to $1.6 million. So
Okay.
the real cost here, it's roughly $9,000 a lot, a little over 9,000 a lot.
That's what I need to know. Thank you.
Mr. Mullally, do you have any? Sorry, Vice Mayor?
Hey, yes, Mr. White, just a quick question, because I know last meeting there was some discussion about that light coming out of their development, that it would have to be approved from TDOT. Is that correct? Or is that something that's already been fixed?
So they have to do traffic counts, and the traffic volumes that they count have to meet certain warrants before we can install a signal. So I think it's 50% build out. You have to do a signal warrant, and then 90%. Is that correct? At 90%, they'll do another signal warrant. If any of those 2 times it meets a signal warrant, then it can be installed. And I think at the last meeting we talked about them posting a letter of credit for the signal, and I was holding that until a certain time. But
Okay, and then my last question, if this fails tonight, will your department be looking at adding an additional 6 lane, for a future, to better that road improvement for our citizens that are currently here?
either us or another developer in the nearby area.
Okay. Just want to make sure we at least get some type of a future plan, just in case this does not pass tonight. Thank you.
All right, we ready to vote? City Recorder, call the roll, please.
Sorry.
Scott Heft, did you vote yay, nay?
Yay.
Ray Justice,
Yes.
James Manis,
Aye.
Jennifer Malay,
Yes.
Bill Trivet.
No.
That's a passage by 4-1 on that on first reading. We will skip a meeting and be back for our final meeting in November 27th on that. The next item is our consent agenda, a resolution approving the supplement to the agreement between the City of Mount Juliet, Tennessee and Reagan Smith Associates Incorporated for construction and engineering and inspection services on East Division at Golden Bear Traffic Signalization Project, and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement. B, a resolution approving the Mount Juliet Police Department to apply for a cost sharing and recruitment grant offered by the state of Tennessee. C, which is a resolution supporting the nation of Israel. E is a resolution approving the contract with GE Merritt Construction LLC for the remodel of a 115 Clemens Road, and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement. Is there a motion on the consent agenda? Motion. Second. Commissioner Justice, you have the floor.
Sir, if we could take C off of the consent, because I think there was something we wanted to add to that. It's just an amendment.
We'll pull C. We'll pull C and we will read it right after item number D, which we've already pulled. Right. So we're back on the consent, which has been properly seconded, moved and seconded with A, B, and E. Any questions or comments? All in favor of the consent, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent passes. The next item is a resolution authorizing the city manager to negotiate the purchase price of the property located at 1025 Charlie Daniels Parkway and to bring a sales agreement back to the Board of Commissioners for final approval. A motion? Second. And a second. D is on the floor. Any questions or comments on it?
Mayor, if I may.
Commissioner Justice?
I had asked that be pulled off because the city attorney is advised that that is not legal because that property is under contract with me. So, I couldn't vote on it anyway. But we've also found out that MTS says that it's not legal for me to sell property in any shape, form, or fashion to the city of Mount Juliet. So is that not correct, Mayor? Mr. Arcady?
This doesn't reference a particular contract. This just authorizes the city manager to negotiate for the purchase of the property.
Any other questions or comments on this? Commissioner Milletti?
I would like to motion to reword the, instead of saying negotiate the purchase price, given the city manager the authorization to make an offer at the agreed upon price, which is 1.56, which it also matches the appraisal. So instead of negotiate, it would be an offer, an actual.
So commissioners put forward an amendment to the resolution to remove the term negotiate and place an offer for 1.56 million. Did I capture that correctly?
Yes.
Is there a second? Yeah, hearing no second on that, we're back on the resolution as read. City manager.
Hope is that I can reach out to the ownership to see if there is a pathway for the city to negotiate with ownership on behalf of the city. I understand the situation and then the newness of what we found out late in the evening. And if there's not, that's understandable and respectful as well.
Thank you, sir. All in favor of the resolution, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. That passes by a vote of 4-0-1 with a single abstention on that. Now we'll loop back for item number C, which was pulled from consent, which is a resolution to support the nation of Israel. I'll make a motion. Second. Commissioner Justice, you were one of the sponsors for this.
Yes, sir. I would say also, if you remember, actually, I'm sure you would, because you were actually the original sponsor of this several years ago. And this, I believe, is the fourth time that we've actually had this for consideration. What I am asking for is that and I don't remember, Sheila, whether I actually put that in here or not, but I'm asking that when this is actually passed, which I'm sure it will, that it would be sent not only to our state representatives the legislative body, but also to the federal legislative body to let them know of our support as well. And I'd like to add that if I could too. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
We'll say Representative Ogles is named in here along with the Israeli embassy.
Okay, what about
We could,
Rose and
we could include a representative, or wait, I guess we could just say our entire state delegate at the federal level. Would that-
state and federal?
Yeah, I mean, the entire federal delegate that represents us at the state.
Correct. Yes, you're right. Yes.
Yeah, mouthful. I specifically referring to the congressman and their two senators.
That represent our city.
I believe you took the entire state at the federal level and you're only looking at 11 people. Is there any objection to that addition from anyone? Hearing no objections, we'll add that.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The resolution supporting the nation of Israel passes, so that's been adopted as amended. The next item is, we have 3 appointments on here, which is the Alcoholic Beverage Board, appointed by the mayor, approved by the Board of Commissioners, Adrian Menez. And then we got a JDBC appointment, position number 18 has to be appointed annually. That's put forward Mr. Luke Winchester, and a Parks Board appointment, Mr. Ross Hayes. And I'll submit those 3 names for the approval of the board. My motion, second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Those 3 are duly appointed. And with that, we've reached the conclusion of our agenda. If there's no objection, we will be adjourned. Hearing none, we are adjourned.